In previous videos, I covered the San Francisco font, which is used throughout Apple's operating systems. I reviewed SF Symbols, Apple's icon library that is part of San Francisco. And I showed you how to use the SF Symbols app to view and modify symbols. In this video, I'm going to show you how to copy a symbol from the SF Symbols app and use it in Figma for your designs. Let's dive in. So here we are in the SF Symbols app. I'm in the multicolor section, which means all of the icons I'm viewing here support the multicolor rendering mode of the symbol. If I select multicolor here, you see them kind of all change here. In the middle, you have symbols that use multiple colors. So the first thing to point out here is changing the font weight here changes the weight of the symbol in the app. So if I change this to black, you kind of see them get a little heavier in weight, or I can just stick with semi-bold or regular. I'm going to choose this trash icon here, and I have some options here. I can copy the symbol, which copies the actual font symbol. I could copy the name, which just copies the text of the name. So that would actually just copy the word trash. So don't have to worry about that. But I can also copy image and copy image as. So if I copy symbol, and then we're going to move to Figma. Here I am in Figma. I have an empty page. I'm going to paste the symbol. And there is the trash icon. Now I see the trash icon because the text object I'm using in Figma is using SF Pro here that you can see on the right. I can change, if I change that to another font, anything else other than one of those San Francisco fonts, you notice that it's blank. It has to be the San Francisco font, the SF Pro, or one of the other SF fonts to view the symbol, because that symbol is part of that font. So I have the trash can here. Let's zoom in on it a little bit. It is regular and 22 points. Of course, I can change that to whatever I want, and you can kind of see that grow in size. We'll go to 24. And it's a regular weight. So I can manipulate the weight just by changing the font weight. And you can kind of see that update as I move through the different weights here. I'll go to medium. Okay, so that's a way to just copy the symbol directly as part of the font into Figma. Now let's go back to the SF Symbols app. And with that same, I should also mention that you notice that I had multicolor selected. It's a red trash can because red is the color that Apple is explicitly choosing for that icon in multicolor. That color doesn't make it to Figma because I'm just copying the symbol value that's part of the font. So I'm going to copy image as and choose PNG. I can change the point size, the pixel scale, or the scale, the symbol scale. I'll just leave those values alone, but I'm going to choose PNG and not SVG. Then copy image. Now, when you use copy image, you cannot paste directly into Figma for some reason. So I'm going to open up preview and create and just paste that image into there. And you see that it's red, just like it is in SF Symbols, because I had the multicolor rendering mode selected. If I were to choose monochrome and then do copy image, it would be that mid color. But because I have multicolor selected, it's going to be that red color. Now in preview, all I have to do is Command C, copy the image from preview. Then when we go to Figma, we can paste it in there, and there is our red trash can. Now it's because I copied a PNG file, it's a raster image. It's not going to scale. You can kind of see the pixels up close. If you were to increase the size of this image, you know, it's going to degrade in quality. So that's pasting a PNG image. Now let's do copy image as and do an SVG image. I'm going to copy that image. And let's paste that in Figma. Now I have that red trash can. And now I can scale this one all the way, make it as big as I want. And you're not going to see any kind of degrading in pixel quality. That's the advantage of SVG. So I don't know why you would ever choose PNG, really. It seems like you would always want to use SVG. Now, I should point out, back in SF Symbols, if you wanted to copy something with a bigger weight, a heavier weight, you can choose that here. Let's choose black, and that's going to make that trash can a lot thicker looking. So now I can copy image. And because I've changed this to SVG, cancel that. I can just do copy image now, and that's going to copy the SVG. And let's move to Figma, and I can paste that fat trash can in here, and it's an SVG file. And again, it's red because I have multicolor selected in SF Symbols. Okay, so just to recap what we've done so far, we've copied the symbol and pasted it into Figma. We've copied a PNG version of the symbol into Figma, and we pasted a SVG version of the symbol into Figma. The advantages of using an SVG file is that you can scale it independently of the font. You have more options with it. Also, with an SVG, you can go in and I can select the paths of the SVG, right? So if I want to edit this thing, I can modify the symbol and do whatever I want with it. And maybe that's the version of the symbol I want, right? So that gives you some advantages over using the font version of the symbol. But the font version of the symbol has advantages because it is part of the San Francisco font. It can live alongside the text in your app, and it takes advantage of dynamic type. So if the user changes the size of their font in the Settings app in iOS, for example, the text will change in size, and so will the SF symbol because it's part of that font. So if you were to export an SVG and use that, you're not going to have that same advantage with dynamic type as you do with the font version of the symbol. Now, some disadvantages are these symbols are only supported in different versions of the OS. So you see here is iOS 15 and up. If you're developing an app for iOS 14, you don't have access to this symbol. So if you wanted to use this symbol, then you're going to have to use the SVG version of the symbol and import that into your Xcode project. But if you're using iOS 15 or up, you can just use the font version, and then you don't have to import it into the project, and you get it for free, and you get all the advantages of using dynamic type. So that's the big advantage there. In our last video, I created a custom symbol, and I created this kind of gross looking popcorn box. So I changed it so we have 3 colors in the symbol, the blue and red box for the popcorn, and then the green popcorn. It's a custom symbol. So you can see here that I have manipulated the layers and changed the colors. I covered that in the last video. But I can still copy this symbol just like any other symbol in the app. And I can paste that in here as an SVG. So there is my custom symbol. And then you can go in here and, customize it even more, right? You can do whatever you want with it in Figma. So there are some advantages to that as well. Okay, now we're going to take a symbol from the SF Symbols app and put it into a design in Figma. So in here, I've just got this simple iOS screen here. It's just a list of icons. I have this base component, which is the icon and then the name of the icon. In this case, I'm using the actual font version. So you see, I'm also using the Apple's official iOS UI kit here. So I have the different text sizes from large title all the way down to caption 2, and I can change that symbol and make it whatever size I want. You can see it change there. I'm using large title regular, so we'll stick with that. And now let's go back to SF Symbols, and we will choose, let's choose some icons to use here. I'm going to change this back to medium. So since I'm using the actual font version, it really doesn't matter if I have multicolor selected or not. So I'm going to go back to monochrome, and let's use this folder fill, folder.fill.badge.plus. So I'm going to copy the symbol, and then in Figma, for each instance, these are all instances of that main component. I'm going to go in here and change that, paste that, and there you go. It's as easy as that. And the name of that symbol, copy name. Going to paste that in there, and it's as easy as that. Let's do one more here. Let's just choose this one. Copy symbol. Go into the instance, paste here, and it's pretty simple to do. Okay, so I'm going to go through and just quickly fill in these other icons with symbols. And there we go. So that's just a quick demo of using SF symbols in Figma. I hope you found this useful. If there's anything I missed or got wrong, please leave me some feedback in the comments below. And in an upcoming video, I'm going to review the Custom Symbols app for creating your own custom symbol. So you could draw your own icon and then create a custom symbol, SF symbol with it. So look for that coming soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.